Donald Trump wants you to think that his trip to the Middle East was a smashing success and that every world leader views him as the peacemaker in chief. But that's just not true. Not only did Donald Trump not yet deliver peace, with Israel already breaking the ceasefire and Trump saying that he's ready to declare war on Hamas, the trip overall wasn't really great. And it hasn't distracted from the fact that Donald Trump can't negotiate himself out of a government shutdown, that Karoline Leavitt has also failed to spin. And it might be both of those things, the failed PR campaign in the Middle East and the inability to spin the shutdown, which is why Trump made a comment about potentially letting go of his top comms official on Leavitt after he hit on her. It was so weird, this clip that we're going to get into, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into the comment that Trump made about Leavitt, I want to start with a bit of the context around the shutdown and where Donald Trump is sending our money while he has shut down the government. And that's to Argentina, which Rachel Maddow called out right here.
I mean, while the U.S. government is shut down right now, it's one thing to have the president leaving the country and flying to other countries, as Trump did today. It's another thing to have the U.S. government funding another country's government while we are not funding ours. Nevertheless, Trump's Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, just sent $20 billion, just sent 20 billion U.S. taxpayer dollars to go fund the government of Argentina, to go bail out their currency for some reason. Argentina's currency has dropped 27% in value already this year, but we're buying $20 billion worth of it. Why is that? That doesn't seem like a good bet. Don't worry, it's just a loan. Right, think we're going to get that loan back? I don't know. The IMF has had to bail out Argentina 23 different times. Argentina owes the IMF more money than any other country on earth. The most recent IMF bailout was just in April, and even that wasn't enough to keep their economy and their peso from continuing to tank. But apparently now it's us. Scott Bessent, Trump's Treasury Secretary, nevertheless just gave Argentina $20 billion of your money to prop up the government of Argentina, even though we have almost no trade with them. And if their economy or their currency collapses, that would be sad for them, but it would likely have no effect on us. This is not something we're doing to protect ourselves. It is just a favor to them. Trump and Scott Bessent have given them $20 billion US dollars out of the U.S. Treasury, a $20 billion bailout that already appears, quite possibly, to be lost down a deep, dark well, because even after Trump gave them this $20 billion infusion within the last few days, CNBC reports today that markets today reacted in such a way that indicates that $20 billion might not be enough. Argentina might tank anyway. And that presumably best case means that we'll never get our $20 billion back. Worst case, it means they're going to keep giving them even more money that we'll never get back. But there are at least two American billionaires who are very close to Trump Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. And these billionaires have made big bets on the health of Argentina's economy. So, you know, I don't know if you had any plans for that $20 billion. It's your money. But for these rich guy friends of Scott Bessent, including Scott Bessent's former mentor on Wall Street, they stand to make a lot of money if the U.S. taxpayer starts propping up that failing country. And they stand to lose a lot if we don't, and that country fails. So there goes $20 billion of your money to buy nearly worthless pesos in Buenos Aires, while, you know, Yellowstone shuts down and people who work for the TSA don't get paid, and American hospitals are white-knuckling it through day 12 of a government shutdown with no end in sight.
So Donald Trump and Karoline Leavitt would have you believe that it is the undocumented immigrants who are taking away your health care, who your taxpayer dollars are being wasted on when undocumented people in this country pay $100 billion in taxes every year going to Medicare, Social Security, unemployment programs they can access. But Karoline Leavitt, no, she doesn't want to talk about that. She wants to lie on behalf of Donald Trump, and at this point, just lie so poorly, because she can't frame this $20 billion as some America First investment. It's just not landing. And Donald Trump might recognize that because he had a comment about Karoline Leavitt when he asked if he should fire her and then started hitting on her.
And I've never failed at working it out like immediately. Is that right? How's Karoline doing? Is she doing good?
How you doing?
Should Karoline be replaced? Huh?
That's up to you, sir.
It'll never happen.
Nobody wants to
It'll
stick
never
up for
happen.
me.
Look,
Thank you, Kate.
Do you want
that
to
face,
elaborate on
and those Katie, and those lips, they move like a machine gun, right?
Do you want to elaborate on the
Can someone explain the thought processes of this dementia-riddled man? You hear Karoline Leavitt in the background of that clip going, "Oh no, I don't think I should be. I don't think I should be fired." And Trump's like, "Should we let her go? Should we get rid of her? Do you not like her?" And I'm sure the press is like, "Yes, we don't like her, and no, you should let her go. She's not good at her job. She's not even really a good liar." But then he says she's got great lips and a great mouth, and he's done this before. And what makes me so uncomfortable is I think Karoline Leavitt probably likes it in the sick, twisted parts of her mind. Ugh. I know that she's got an interesting situation with her husband going on, so she's into the grandpas a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with loving who you love, but Karoline Leavitt doesn't really seem to love a lot. I said love it. Karoline Leavitt doesn't seem to love a lot. Certainly not her name. She's a hateful, spiteful person who only wants everyone in America to share her same, Botox-filled, filler-lipped, weird face concoction thing that I guess she ripped off the shelf of the Kristi Noem store. So maybe our diversity is our strength, because I don't want everyone looking like Karoline Leavitt and Stephen Miller, but it doesn't matter. Karoline Leavitt is bad at her job. I don't know if Trump is starting to recognize that as the PR campaign isn't really landing for him, but it's underreported, the weird slip-ups that happened on this trip. The mainstream media has just been obsessed with hailing Trump as this deal maker for some reason, that they've forgotten to talk about the idiocy that went down on his visit. And part of it was examining, which Rachel Maddow did, this very strange relationship, criminal, corrupt relationship between Trump and the president of Egypt. It went underreported, but not by Maddow.
In Donald Trump's 2016 run for president against Hillary Clinton, one of the unexplained twists in that campaign was that Trump picked a foreign leader to call his favorite dictator during the campaign, which is not a typical thing that an American presidential candidate might do. You might think that the American people might not like that, but Trump went out on a limb and did that anyway. Before he was elected, during the campaign, he singled out the military strongman leader of Egypt as his favorite dictator. He actually showered him with all sorts of inexplicable praise. And I mean, it was inexplicable because, this is not something for which there's like a big domestic audience during a presidential campaign. Why do you want to vote for somebody for president who's praising who his favorite dictator is and why he likes this military strongman abroad? It was so weird. But he was really sort of insistent about it just a few weeks before Election Day, as Donald Trump's campaign was running out of money. And it really looked like he was going to lose to Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump, at the height of the 2016 presidential campaign, he took a one-on-one meeting with the president of Egypt. And he came out of that meeting and he called the president of Egypt a, quote, fantastic guy. He promised him that if Donald Trump, was elected president, the United States would be a, quote, loyal friend to Egypt. And then when Trump, in fact, was elected, he very much made good on that. He brought the president of Egypt to be one of his first guests at the White House. Egypt, really? He showered him with totally unqualified praise. What's that about? Then he gave Egypt nearly $200 million that his own Trump-appointed State Department leadership opposed him giving. Then he gave them more than $1 billion after that. He just loved the president of Egypt. Couldn't do enough for the president of Egypt. Couldn't say why he loved him so much, but he just kept pouring it on. What was that about?
I want to thank you. Another one. We've been my friends right from the beginning during the campaign against crooked Hillary Clinton.
That was today. He's been my friend right from the beginning during the campaign against crooked Hillary Clinton. I want to thank you. Something about his love for Egypt's president goes back to his campaign against Hillary Clinton in 2016. What could that be? Oh, right. Last year, there was landmark reporting from the Washington Post, including our own Carol Leavitt, about one of the Justice Department investigations into Donald Trump that was shut down by his appointees once he became president. This was the headline, quote, $10 million cash withdrawal drove secret probe into whether Trump took money from Egypt. Now, when this story was published by the Washington Post, Trump's campaign, of course, called it fake news. But here's what that reporting said. During his campaign in 2016 against Hillary Clinton, the Trump campaign really had run out of money. His advisors were begging him to put in more of his own money into the campaign, and he was reportedly saying, no, he couldn't do it, or at least he wouldn't do it. But then he met with the president of Egypt, this inexplicable meeting he took at the height of the campaign with the president of Egypt. And somehow, shortly thereafter, he changed his mind about how much money he could give to his campaign. Yes, suddenly he could give $10 million of his own money to his campaign in the last crucial weeks before the election. That $10 million that he may or may not have been good for? I don't know. But the Justice Department reportedly found that 5 days before he was inaugurated, mysteriously, an organization linked to the Egyptian intelligence service withdrew almost exactly $10 million in cash from the National Bank of Egypt.
Of course, Donald Trump is corrupt. Of course, Donald Trump is taking money from foreign governments. Of course, Donald Trump is willing to do favors for anyone who praises him or gives him a jet or a campaign contribution or a better deal for his golf courses. That is what Trump is about. The government is shut down. Your premiums are doubling and tripling. TSA workers aren't being paid. Military families are waiting in line at food banks. And Donald Trump is cutting a $20 billion check to Argentina, who is selling soybeans to China that were previously purchased from American farmers who are also needing a bailout in the form of your tax dollars generated through tariff revenue that makes things more expensive. I know that was a jam-packed bit of what the fuck is happening, but what the fuck is happening? What has this country become? What has this dictatorship become, really, is the question I should ask. Because we're still fighting. We hate these idiots. And we're going to show it at the No Kings protest. I keep bringing this up because I just want to see y'all there. I want to hammer it home. I want us to know that it is October 18th, that you should go, not only if you're in D.C. or L.A. or Chicago or New York, no, anywhere in this country. I am sure hopefully within a 30-minute drive, you can get yourself to a No Kings protest. You can show up. You can be in community. Please look up where you can find a location and be a part of this great day, fighting back against Donald Trump, showing this administration that they are not ruling over us. We're going to keep talking about that on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And if you want to watch an interview that I did this morning with Congressman Jim Himes about Donald Trump's meltdown of a post last night, you can check that out right there. Keep on fighting. Don't let him silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.